Here's a fun past life story my client experienced as an alien. I'm going to read the notes off my screen so I can tell you the fun details. So while my client is under hypnosis, I'm quickly typing all kinds of notes because I want them to not only have the recording from their entire past life and higher self hypnosis session, but I want them to have lots of notes so they can go back and remember all the healing and the downloads and the wisdom and the direction that their higher self gave them. So she said, I feel masculine and like I'm wearing a one-piece suit. She said, I have really big claw hands, really large hands with 3 big fingers, and there's a claw on each one, like a cat claw. She said, I feel like I'm orangish brown, like I match the dirt, and my skin is scaly. I have 2 arms, 2 legs, and I walk upright. When we came on the scene, she found herself in a really barren place where she was doing some kind of work, like some sort of research work. I asked her, how do you feel about your life? And she said, I don't have any feelings about my life. I just have a job to do. I'm very serious. I feel like I came here to this other planet by craft, maybe looking for other people or other beings. She described this craft as looking triangular, dark, like a dark gray color. She said it's medium size and lights line the outside border of it. There's a ramp that comes down from the bottom to get into it, and inside there are beings on the ship, other beings that look like me that are driving. She said the head looked funny. She said it's not round, it's more like a thumb almost, a funny, more narrow head. She said we all have something that kind of resembles feet, but they have fewer toes. We're larger than humans. Inside the craft, she said there are lots of controls. There's a board, buttons and screens, and big windows that you can see out of. I think there's just 3 of us in this craft. I asked her, how is the ship powered? And she said it's powered by crystals. And as a side note, when I hear my clients having past lives where they describe arriving someplace by a craft, they always say that the craft is powered by crystals. She said she was leading the mission and making the decisions about the trip. I took her forward and asked her to show me another important time or a memorable event, and she described herself as arriving at some sort of hub. She said, it's crowded here and there are a lot of different types of beings. They don't all look like me. I feel safe though. It might look like a transportation hub or something. I don't see how I got there. I feel like I'm working. This is my job. Again, I have a responsibility. It feels more familiar here than where I was before. It feels more familiar even though I'm not really sure what I'm doing at this time. I then asked her, what about emotions? Do you feel like you can feel a range of emotions? She said, no, I'm very neutral. The main emotion just feels like duty, kind of mission driven. I think I'm glad to help people. I feel satisfied with what I'm doing. I'm glad to help. I feel like I'm fulfilling what I'm supposed to do. It doesn't feel very serious. Then I asked her, so when it's time to leave this life or leave this body, how does that happen? Do you die or does something else happen? She said, I'm standing upright and I'm choosing to leave. I'm talking to like a masculine elder. It feels like maybe a boss, but more intimate than that. I'm ready to go. I've decided to leave, like I have other work to do. I asked her if she had any feelings about that one way or the other, and she said, I just feel ready. I'm prepared to go on to the next thing. After she decided to leave, I said, what do they do with the body once you're gone, since you just decided to leave? And she said, I want to say they recycle the body or they reuse it somehow. They're very respectful, but it's like, oh yeah, this is what you do. I want to say recycle, but I'm not sure what that means. They reuse it somehow, or maybe give it back to the planet. I'm not really sure. It's a very respectful sort of process. So again, while she was outside of the body, I asked her, what do you think the lessons were that you were meant to learn from that life? She said, I want to say it was a break from my emotions. I was happy to help, happy to go in and use my knowledge and my tools and give back and assist, but I feel like that species is not very emotional, and so it was kind of a break. It was more about duty. It was peaceful. It was simple. I said, so you don't have emotional ups and downs like humans do? And she said, oh no, I don't. I asked her if she liked that experience, and she said, I think it was nice to help and nice to have the break, but I don't feel like I learned a lot. It was more of a reprieve almost. I was still helping, I wasn't useless, but there weren't a whole lot of lessons. I said, compared to human lives where there are more lessons in a human life, and she said yes. I asked her if she had any more thoughts about that life, and she just said, I'm ready to move on and do something more meaningful. So after looking at a past life, I lead my clients to channel their higher selves, not only to get healing and answers and guidance, find out their purpose, but I also wanted to ask, why did you bring that past life to her mind when we asked to see a relevant past life? Her higher self said, she has a lot of emotion in this life and she resents that. She doesn't like it and it feels overwhelming. The other life showed her that emotions have a purpose, and the lessons are often coming through those hard emotions. I asked her higher self, so emotions serve a purpose in our spiritual journey? And her higher self said yes. I asked her higher self, how do emotions help us on our journey and help us evolve? Her higher self said, learning lessons through the struggle of emotion is the most effective way to learn. Humans are stubborn. We don't want to learn. It's kind of like we have to learn the hard way. And this is not the first time I have heard a past life session similar to this. In so many alien lives, we don't have emotions, or if we have any, they're very, very few emotions, and the lessons come very slowly, if at all. Those lives are usually about a sense of duty and purpose and mission, and don't have the emotional ups and downs. So when I talk to my clients, I like to say that Earth is kind of like going to summer school. It's like a crash course where you get to learn lessons quick, fast, and hard. Emotions make earthly lessons so impactful. While our conscious minds don't like all of this emotional turmoil and upheaval, our souls love it because of all of the lessons we get to learn because of these emotions. Emotions really are a gift, as hard as they are to experience. And I wanted to share this story so that you can kind of keep it in the back of your mind when you're going through emotional ups and downs. And remember the alternative. Remember about going to other lives and how there aren't emotions. And it actually is kind of boring for those souls. In those lives, the souls are not experiencing this kind of growth or having this kind of enlightenment to carry them forward in their spiritual journey. If you can look at it that way and have a true appreciation for what you actually are getting as a result of being on Earth, along with all of these emotions, it might make this experience just a little more tolerable if we can look at it from that higher perspective.